The official record says the USS Redfin went down on November 9, 1968. Cause unknown, all hands lost. There is a memorial at the Fafance lost. There is a memorial at the Naval Station in Groton, Connecticut. 99 names on a black granite wall. Every November, the families gather and the Navy sends an officer in dress whites. And everyone says the same things people say when something terrible has no explanation. The official record is missing a few pages. Commander David Rourke knew that better than anyone. He had been the junior communications officer aboard the Redfin's sister ship, the USS Tarpon, the night the Redfin went silent. He had been the one sitting at the receiver when the last transmission came through. He had been the one who wrote it down, word for word, in the ship's log. Before his commanding officer came into the radio room, read what he had written, tore the page out, and told him he had heard nothing. Rourke was 24 years old. He did what he was told. He spent the next 56 years not talking about it. His granddaughter Elena found the torn page in a shoebox under his bed 3 weeks after his funeral. She was clearing out his apartment in New London, Connecticut, going through the careful accumulation of a long, quiet life, when she found the shoebox. Inside was the page, folded 4 times, the edges soft with age, a photograph of a submarine in open water, the hull number visible on the sail, a single name written on the back of the photograph in her grandfather's handwriting, USS Redfin, November 9, 1968, and underneath that, 2 words, I'm sorry. Elena was a marine salvage coordinator. She knew how to read a sonar map. She knew who to call when you needed a research vessel in the North Atlantic. On short notice, she unfolded the torn page and read what her grandfather had written down 56 years ago, the last transmission from the USS Redfin. Word for word, exactly as he had heard it. It was dated November 9th, 1968, 0340 hours. The handwriting was young and careful, the handwriting of a 24-year-old who understood that what he was writing down mattered. It read, "This is Lieutenant Commander Harris, USS Redfin, transmitting on emergency frequency. We are at depth position 39 degrees north, 67 degrees west, and we have a situation that I do not have words for. Something came aboard at 0200 hours. We do not know how. The pressure hull is intact. All hatches were sealed, but something came aboard and it has been moving through the boat since 0200, and the men who have seen it are not responding, and I need someone to tell me this is happening, because I need to know I am not losing my mind down here. We are at depth and we cannot surface. I say again, we cannot surface. Something is wrong with the controls, and I think it is deliberate, and I think whoever is reading this needs to know that whatever is down here with us did not come from the surface. It came from below. It came from much further below than we are, and it is still here, and it is still moving, and I do not know how or much longer we have before it reaches the con. God help us. God help all 99 of us. Tell our families we were thinking of them at the end." Elena read it twice. Then she picked up her phone and called the one person she trusted who had access to deep water research vessels. 3 weeks later, she was standing on the deck of the RV Meridian, 400 miles off the coast of New Jersey, watching a sonar screen as the image of something very large and very metal resolved itself out of the darkness. At 2,800 feet, the shape was unmistakable. 300 feet long, a pressure hull, a sail, dive planes, a propeller that had not turned in 56 years. The hull number was clearly visible on the sonar image. USS Redfin, SS-272. Exactly where Lieutenant Commander Harris had said they were. Exactly where the Navy had spent 56 years insisting there was nothing to find. Elena looked at the sonar image for a long time. Then she looked at the depth reading. Then she looked at her dive coordinator, a man named Price, who had done deep water work in the Gulf of Mexico and the Norwegian Sea and who was not easily unsettled. Price was looking at a secondary reading on the sonar screen, a smaller return close to the hull of the submarine. Moving. "What is that?" Elena said. Price looked at the reading for a moment. Then he looked at her. "It is probably a current effect," he said. "Thermal layer moving across the hull." Price was quiet for a moment. "Thermal layers do not move like that," he said. "They do not move in circles. They do not stay that close to a fixed object for that long, and they do not change direction." Elena looked at the secondary sonar return, moving slowly around the hull of the USS Redfin, circling, Patient and steady in the dark at 2,800 feet. How long has it been doing that? She said. Price checked the log. Since we first picked up the contact, he said, 3 hours ago. Elena looked at the torn page in her hand, the careful young handwriting of a 24-year-old who had written down something he was told he had never heard. It came from below. It came from much further below than we are. She folded the page carefully and put it in her jacket pocket. Get the ROV ready, she said. We are going down for a closer look. Chapter 1 ends here. Chapter 2 coming Wednesday. Subscribe to The Drifting Dark. The Redfin has been found. What is circling it has not.